Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me for the first installment of a recurring series that I'm planning here on the channel that will be titled, I Don't Have That, But I Do Have This. I think the name sort of speaks for itself, so I'll save you a lengthy explanation, but essentially, in some cases, cards that are out of my range or that I wouldn't normally pursue for my collection, while I don't have those, they've inspired me to pick up something, similar or in some way related that is a fit for my collection. And so the first episode, we're going to talk about the Electrifying inserts from Fleer Tradition. So the picture that you see there on the iPad in front of you, my technical genius here showing on the channel rather than splicing in an image into the video, I just brought it up on my iPad and threw it in the frame. But that is the 1998-99 Electrifying insert from the Fleer Tradition basketball set. And obviously that's Kobe Bryant that we're looking at here. These are incredibly 90s cards. And I think they've dated pretty well if you like kind of flashy over the top 90s stuff like I do. I think a lot of collectors probably agree because they've appreciated quite well on the secondary market and they're not the cheapest cards to track down. Obviously the theme here is electricity and, or lightning, sort of emanating from the ball. Sort of reminds me of like the Scoring Kings cards from also from Fleer earlier in the decade. And in addition to that, it's a little bit hard to tell in that picture, but there is sort of a sparkly gold foil that is kind of plastered over the background of the card behind the subject. And while these are definitely out of my range or what I would be willing to pay for a basketball card, given that I'm not a big basketball guy, generally speaking, I was happy to learn that Fleer Upper Deck recreated these under the Fleer name for a 2012-13 Fleer Retro hockey release. So this is Evgeny Malkin here of the Penguins, and I apologize for the background glare, but you can really get a sense here for that awesome gold foil that I mentioned. If you're a fan of shiny, these things just really, really sparkle. These, again, were put out for the 2012-13 Fleer Retro set. They were fairly tough pulls. I don't think Upper Deck printed a ton of the Fleer Retro release to begin with. And then these fell at something like 1 in 70 packs, I think, or something along those lines. So, and then with 20 players on the checklist, you would have to open, a couple thousand packs maybe to find, any one player's Electrifying card. Like the basketball ones, believe it or not, these are somewhat pricey, even though, this throwback is less than 10 years old now. I was really hoping to add an Alex Ovechkin to my collection, but those are, believe it or not, selling in like the $300 range raw. So that is not going to happen at that price point. I'll keep my eyes open and maybe I'll get lucky someday. But in the meantime, I was really excited to find this one because Malkin is one of the more underrated stars of the NHL. Everybody talks about Crosby and obviously McDavid and Ovechkin, and rightfully so. But I think Malkin is one of those guys who's a sort of a 1B to those guys. Maybe loop him in with Leon Draisaitl and others. He's had a very successful career. He is absolutely destined for the Hall of Fame. And on top of that, he looks pretty good here in a Penguins jersey on a card that, features so much gold in its color scheme. So I really thought, this was a nice one to pick up. And obviously what sold me on this more than anything was the fact that this was acquired for $5 off of Sport Lots. So haven't seen any other players of a Hall of Fame caliber from this set available that cheaply. So I figured let me scoop up Malkin here and at least get one of these into my collection. So I'll certainly keep an eye out for other players that are an even better fit for me. But if not, if this is the only Electrifying insert that I ever end up with, I will certainly be happy with that. So that's a wrap. This one's going to be nice and short and sweet. I expect these to be, 5-minute or less videos, generally speaking, when I do these going forward. But I hope you enjoyed this. And if you have any feedback on this concept for a video series, please let me know in the comments. I'm always looking for opportunities to adjust and improve, and I enjoy hearing from you all. So that's a wrap. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day and keep collecting.